Hey guys, we're back for week 5 of the year. We started off on January 1st, or more accurately, January 3rd, the first market day of the year. We invested $250 in a collection of 5 REITs, 5 covered calls, 5 S&P 500 ETFs, and 5 NASDAQ 100 ETFs for a total portfolio value of $1,000. And here is how we have performed over the course of the first 5 weeks of the year. This is the first week where we have actually had some total overall gains on a week per week basis. It looks like we are starting to go up a little bit on our investments, but again, the covered calls are still in the lead out of the 5 different categories. The REITs dropped another 1.81% down to $222.50. Covered calls actually rose 1.5% this week. The S&P 500 ETFs rose 1.56%, and for the first time this year, the NASDAQ 100 ETFs actually had some gains, and on a week per week basis, the NASDAQ 100 gained the most out of the 4 different categories at 2.82%, with the S&P 500 ETFs being 1.56%, covered call ETFs being 1.51%, and the REITs losing 1.81%. The total overall portfolio value increased 0.98% to $903.78 from $895. Let's take a look at each one of the holdings and how they performed in each of the 4 different colored categories. So we are on week 5 here, and in the green category we have AMT, DLR, O, VNQ, and WELL. And for the first time this year in 2022, Realty Income has topped WELL, and it is now in first place for the REIT category. And you can see on the graph here the different trend lines for the different holdings that we have, and DLR is continuing to fall, and it looks like O and WELL just traded first and second place. Down on the covered calls category in the red, Devo and PBP again are tied this week, and they are slightly up compared to last week, and all of the covered calls are up compared to last week and even 2 weeks ago. At week 3, they're at 48.85 and 48.85 are the tied first place funds. We come down to the S&P 500 ETFs, and again, the value stocks, VOOV, Vanguard's S&P 500 Value Fund, is still continuing to be way out in first place, relatively way out. It is about $2 to $3 ahead of the next highest funds in this category. So if we zoom in here, we can see that maybe we have a slight increase in the VOOG ticker symbol, Vanguard's S&P 500 Growth Fund, where they weight the tech stocks a little bit more than some of the value stocks. And VOOV, they weight the value stocks, which is the long-standing companies that don't have much growth, but they have a lot of history behind them and a lot of history of paying dividends for the most part. And then you have 3 standard S&P 500 funds, and they are all still tracking very similar, very close to each other. We come down to the last but not least category of the NASDAQ 100 ETFs, and QQQ is still in front compared to the other funds, and the leveraged funds QLD and TQQQ are still trying to catch up. We did have some increase in the NASDAQ 100 funds, but we're going to have to increase quite a bit more for these leveraged funds to be able to catch back up from being decimated here the first 5 weeks of the year. So there you have it, quick update for the M1 Finance Battle of 2022, and I'll see you next week.